Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and rough out the wall cabinets, and then we can start putting in the details for the drawer faces and doors. So I'm going to start my wall cabinets 18 inches above my countertop, and for a full height of 42 inches. And now, because we have to make room for the fridge here, I'm going to go 38 inches over and 11 inches down. And that's going to help me make my smaller cabinets that go above the fridge. Now I can start to trace. So if you'll notice, I'm hovering over for just a couple of seconds on this inference point, and then this way I can track and trace above. And I'm going to push pull these at a depth of 12 inches. And now we have the roughed out wall cabinets. Now before I put on the door faces and drawer faces, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these upper cabinets, right, these wall cabinets, a group. Now I can start to add some detail. I'm going to start back down at the base cabinets. So what I want to do is I want to start to lay out where these doors and drawers are going to go. So for this particular cabinet, I'm going to do 3 drawers. I'm going to start an inch up. Then I'm going to go up 11 and a half. Go another inch. Go 11 and a half again. And then another inch from the bottom and down from the top to make my thinner top drawer. And now I can go in and trace. I'll push pull these out half an inch. And to add some more detail, I'm going to offset inward 2 inches just on these larger drawer faces. And then I'll push pull that inside panel back in 1/4 of an inch. Sometimes it goes the wrong way. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the door on the opposite side of the stove. So I already have my 1-inch guidelines above and below. I'm going to make a guideline from the left and from the right. I'll make a simple door panel. Push pull out a half an inch, offset in 2 inches, and then push pull that panel back another 1/4 inch. Now on this side, what I want to do is I want to have 2 doors that open up to access the sink. And we'll do a false drawer face right underneath the sink. So before I put in this door, I want to get those widths to look right. So I'll start right about here. And I'm going to go, for this particular sink, I'm going to go 2'9" to the left. We'll come down an inch. And I'm going to match up with this drawer. Now this drawer here is 4 inches, and I'm going to stick with that. And we want to split this up before we offset another 2 inches for the door panel. And we'll push back a quarter, like we've been doing. Okay, so now that I have that laid out, I'm going to work back again to the right, an inch over. And an inch in. And I'll use inferencing when I can for my push-pull. So next I want to make two 18-inch doors, one on this side and one on the opposite side of the base cabinet. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to make a 1-inch guideline to space out my sets of doors. And then I'm going to go 18 inches over. Now instead of making this door over again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this door we've previously made, and I'm just going to resize it with the scale tool. So again, all I did was use move and hit control to create a copy. And now with the scale tool, you'll see that once I initiate it, I get all of these green handles. They let me move and resize in different ways. But what I want to make sure I do is to grab this middle handle here on the side. So by grabbing it in the middle, I'm only going to stretch it and skew it along this axis. And then I can snap to my guideline. So you should notice that in doing that, I've resized, and I now have an 18-inch door, but now these rails are also stretched, or in this case, squashed, to be less than 2 inches. So I want to correct that. So I'm going to use a guideline and reestablish a 2-inch distance, to which I will pull this face. You can see I have that 2 inches again. Okay, and now I'm just going to copy that to this side, 1 inch over. And now what we can do is we can make our final set of drawers to go in between. So I'm going to keep my spacing consistent at 1 inch between doors and drawers. We have our drawer set up already, and we're just going to put in our, the top drawer set up. We're going to put in our final 2 drawers. 11.5 inches down, inch between, and then that remaining distance should also be 11.5, and it is. Perfect. And we'll use inferencing for those distances, right, to push-pull that a 1/2 inch. Offset of 2 inches. And we'll push-pull it back to a 1/4 inch. Sometimes if we get stuck like this, I said this a while ago, I'll say it again. When in doubt, zoom extents. And it's going to zoom us back out to where we want to be. So now that our initial faces are done for our drawer faces, I'm going to make them all a single group. And the reason why I wanted to do that, and the reason why I waited to group all of these together, is that when I start to add color and materials, I'll be able to very quickly and easily color all of these door and drawer faces at once while they're in the same group. And you'll see that when we add color. Okay, so now I have a group for my base cabinets, for my door and drawer faces, for my countertops, and for our wall cabinets. So now we're going to add similar details to these upper wall cabinets. But before I do that, I'm going to get rid of some of these, or all of these guidelines, so we can see what we're doing. So for these wall cabinets, I'm going to push-pull out 1/2 inch like I've been doing. I'm going to split this into 2 doors. And then stick with our 2 inch offset. And I'll push-pull back a 1/4 inch for the panel like I've been doing. Still need to push-pull that 1/2 inch. There we go. And you know what, given the size of this, I think I'm going to make this a single door that's hinged at the top. So I'm going to leave that as is. And I'll make these a group as well. Okay, so next we'll be ready to make handles for these, and then we can start adding some color.